Hi guys, and welcome back to the story time. So this is probably going to be a bit of a longer story time. If you guys watched my last two, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. Yes, it's still the same day that I am filming this. I wanted to knock out all these story times. This way I have time to think of more and everything. I'm weird, I know. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead and give you guys a story time on my sinus issues. So a lot of you guys know, I don't think it's too bad now, but if you go back and watch older vlogs and stuff like that, I sound sick constantly. And that is because I have chronic sinus issues. I have had sinus surgery 3 times so far, and number 4 is going to be scheduled here within the next couple of days. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and jump back, way back when. My asthma is going to tie into this as well. So I'm just going to talk about my asthma first. She is currently asleep on the monitor here, but so it was my, I think it was my junior year of high school. It was after like Christmas break and everything like that, so it was like the tail end of junior year of high school. I started having really bad breathing issues, and I was diagnosed with asthma, and I was put on medications. I was put on Advair, I was put on Singulair, and off and on I was on prednisone, which is a steroid. My asthma was so bad, it was very uncontrolled. I have almost died a couple of times due to asthma attacks. My senior year is when it was at its worst. I was in the hospital every other week for an asthma attack. Ambulance were being called to my address because I couldn't breathe, and I lived like 20 miles away from the nearest hospital. It was rough. So I was constantly in the hospital, and a lot of times I would be admitted and I would miss out on a lot of school and school activities and stuff just because I was in the hospital, or I would get behind on like certain classes because they didn't have any homework, but I didn't have any material to read to help me learn. It was a rough year. I almost didn't graduate because of it. And I want to say it was like right around the beginning of my senior year, I started having really hard times blowing my nose. I felt constantly stuffed up, and I would try to blow my nose so hard I would get dizzy and I would almost pass out. I've broken blood vessels in my eyes my senior year of high school because I would try to blow my nose so hard and nothing would come out. And we couldn't figure out why. And I went to go see an ear, nose, and throat specialist, and he told me that he did not feel comfortable seeing me as a patient because my polyps is what they are. They were so aggressive and so bad that he didn't feel comfortable doing surgery, and that it was the worst case that he had seen in his 52 years of doctor, so of being an ear, nose, and throat specialist. So he sent me down to Pittsburgh to this doctor. Her name is Dr. Lee, and she is the one that did my first sinus surgery. She did mention that my sinus cavity up here is very narrow, and she didn't understand why. And we think it's because whenever I was in my mom's, when my mom was pregnant with me, she would essentially sit on my head. The way I was positioned, I was like tucked underneath her tailbone, and I came out with indentation of her tailbone on my forehead. So we think that that's what happened with my sinus cavity, is that there was like, just from her sitting, it like made my sinus cavity up there very narrow. And Dr. Lee said that if she ever did the surgery again, she was going to have to drill it open a little bit to make it more open. The rest of the sinus cavities are fine, but aside from all the polyps. So after I had the surgery with her, that was back in May of 2015. I was good until, I do believe, April of 17 is when I had my next surgery. I was good for about a year and a half though. And then I didn't remember her name. I couldn't figure it out. And I just went to an ENT that is literally 15 minutes from my house. I figured that was better than the 2-hour drive down to Pittsburgh. And so I saw him. He did my sinus surgery in April of 2017. If you guys have been following my channel, I do believe I started vlogging around that time. And when I was in getting surgery done, our Kmart was closing, and Tim bought a pack and play that I really wanted, just to kind of boost my spirits. And right after surgery, we went back up to Kmart and I got some outfits and stuff like that. And then I was good for probably 6 months. And then I was pregnant with Austin, and then I got pregnant with Ella. So I wasn't able to get the surgery done, obviously. I was still going to see my ENT, just so we could keep onto the same pace and everything like that. But there was nothing he could do until after I had my daughter. So he also wanted me to see a pulmonologist, which is an asthma specialist, to see about getting my asthma under control. Oh, excuse me, which thankfully it got under control. Oh my gosh, before I got pregnant with my daughter. I do believe I was still having some issues with my with my asthma when I was pregnant with Austin. But a lot of the issues happened when my OBGYN told me to stop taking my Singulair, and I had asthma flare-ups, and I was in the ER 2 days in a row due to it. So I started up my Singulair, and I haven't stopped taking it since. And I'm now on Singulair still. I am now on Brio Ellipta instead of the Advair. And I haven't had to use my albuterol machine, my nebulizer. It's actually over on the windowsill somewhere. I have it packed away. I still have some of the medication, like the bottles for in the nebulizer, but I haven't had to use them. And before, I was going through my rescue inhaler. It was the Venolin inhaler, I believe is what it's called. Excuse me. I was on that, or I was going through one of those quicker than a month. And the one I've had now has lasted me since before I had my daughter, which was almost 10 months ago. So, or actually, when you guys are seeing this, it's been over 10 months. So it's been great. My asthma is so much better. Like last year when I was pregnant with her, I was out walking around dead summer, 9 months pregnant, and didn't have to use my inhaler. I was walking hills. I was very, very proud of myself for finally finding an asthma pulmonologist who listened to me instead of telling me that I needed to lose 100 pounds like my first pulmonologist had done. This pulmonologist that I see now, he listens to me. He helps me. We did a trial and error with medications, and it's been great. Obviously not the trial and error, but the trial and success has been wonderful. Anyways, back to shortly after I had my daughter back in November of 2018. So my daughter was about 2 months old, and we scheduled surgery. I had my 3rd sinus surgery in 2 years, and actually 3 years, sorry. My 3rd sinus surgery in 3 years. And yeah. So I started seeing him more regularly after I had Ella, because like we were trying to figure out a way to get these polyps to go away and stay away. And they just wouldn't. They came back 2 months after he did my surgery. And he ended up referring me back down to Pittsburgh, down to Dr. Lee, who did my first surgery, because not only was his office, or he was leaving to go to a completely different state, halfway across the states to like Montana or something like that. His office was closing down and another ENT was not going to be in there. So he told me my best option is to go to Pittsburgh. She is the best in the states, is what I've been told. So yeah, I went down to Pittsburgh here like 2 weeks ago, and we looked into my sinuses and stuff. And I thought I heard my daughter cry. I had been having ear issues as well, so she did take a look because she is an ENT. She mostly specializes in nose, but she did take a look in my ears and stuff like that. And it's a lot worse than we had anticipated. She wants me to see her ear specialist because the polyps have now spread to my ears. So without the steroids, I can't hear anything. I literally feel like I'm underwater because my ears are so clogged. And the same crap that's in my nose that I get out now, that I can actually blow out, is in my ears now as well. So I've got mucus and polyps in my ears and in my sinus cavities. And we don't know the game plan for my ears. We don't know what we're gonna have to do. I have to go see the ear specialist, and that's not until August 12th, I think. So that's when I go and see that doctor. And then she also wants me to go through aspirin desensitization, I believe is what she called it. And that's not until September 17th. So that, she said, is our best option at getting these polyps to stay away a little longer, and hopefully just get them to go away altogether to where I can finally freaking breathe again. Because if you guys don't know, I am allergic to all NSAIDs. Aspirin, Aleve, ibuprofen. I can't take none of that for pain. The only thing I can take for pain is Tylenol, and it sucks. I can't even take like menstrual period like pain relief because it's NSAIDs. It's got NSAIDs in it. It's got Aleve in it, or whatever it is, and I can't even take that. I have to take Tylenol. I can take like the stronger medications too, but I don't like to. Honestly, I don't even remember the last time I've taken like a Vicodin. But yeah. So pain medication is Tylenol for me. That's what I can take over the counter. And it's awful because Tylenol makes me tired. And even if I get like the daytime Tylenol, it still makes me tired. All Tylenol makes me tired, and that's nothing I can. Anyway, so she wants me to go through aspirin desensitization, and she said that's, like I said, it's our best chance at getting these polyps to go away and stay away. And I pray that it does, because I am over these issues. So over them. I hate going through a box of tissues in a day and a half, which I've done multiple times. I hate going down to Pittsburgh constantly for appointments. I hate going into surgery, especially now that my daughter's here, because it leaves me hindered for a couple of days. Like, I can still get up and do stuff, but I'm in a lot of pain afterwards. And not only that, but when she was 2 months old, she had butted my nose and I got a nosebleed for 2 hours. So that's always fun. And then you have to deal with all of the blood in your stomach post-surgery, and I can't sleep laying down. I have to be propped up. It's awful, you guys. I hate having sinus surgery. I mean, I hate having surgery in general, but I hate sinus surgery the most. I've had multiple surgeries in my lifetime. I had surgery on my left elbow. I essentially had like a surgery. I was put under anesthesia when I was younger because I had stitches. I had a quarter-sized chunk taken out of my leg and I had to have like 13 stitches in my leg. I've had dental extractions, which they did put me under for, and then my 3 sinus surgeries. So, excuse me, I've had my fair share of sinus surgeries and it sucks. And I want to be done with it so that I don't have to worry about my daughter. You know, I can just worry about taking care of her, and I don't have to worry about how I'm going to take care of her after surgery and just everything like that. So those appointments are coming up. My surgery will be scheduled. I will let you guys know in a vlog when that surgery is scheduled for. But yeah, so things are getting close, but they're also still so far away. But hopefully we get things figured out and I won't have to have surgery on my sinuses for a few years. If I could go 3-4 years in between a sinus surgery, that's even fine with me, honestly, because at this point, 1 every year essentially, I'm done. I'm over it. But anyways, that is it for this story time. I'll keep you guys up to date on my sinuses, but as of right now, things are pretty good. I am on a 3-week course of steroids, which have helped clear me out a little bit. I can hear finally because the polyps in my ears have shrunk down to where I can hear. But yeah, little TMI about my ears, by the way, after I started taking the steroids. If you guys don't want to hear, thanks for watching this far, but it's almost done. But I know a lot of you people have weak stomachs and stuff like that, so if it's gonna be TMI, just go ahead and click out. But the one day I had a lot of pain in this ear after starting my steroids, and so I laid with my head down on the pillow, just pressing to keep air from it while my daughter was napping. I was just relaxing, and I sat up for a second and I looked down at my pillow and there was a gob like this big of gunk that had just fallen out of my ear. So needless to say, my ear felt better after that, but it's pretty gross to think about. Anyways, that's it for this story time. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much. I know story times are not usually 20 minutes long, but I had a lot of backstory and I've been dealing with this since I was about 17. So that's like 7 years now, and there was a lot of backstory. So anyways, that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and end this story time, and I will see you guys all next week. Let me know, comment down below different story times you would like to hear, and I will get those out for you. there is a Storytime album I will have linked up here somewhere in the I button in the sky. But you guys can go and watch all other story times that I've posted before. And yeah, so that's it. And I will see you guys all next time. Bye.